Okay, I'm going to do this commentary on the film Stagecoach by John Ford, and we're going to start with the scene where they are being chased by Geronimo. So you can instantly notice how the music changes, and it heightens and kind of gives a negative sense on the Native Americans that are going to soon attack the stagecoach. And it goes back to the peaceful music too, and then again back to that wartime music. And so in this scene, it shows all the characters coming together and learning from each other and regrouping over this journey that they just took. So as soon as everyone comes together and finally gets along is when they get attacked by these Native Americans, and they're introduced with a new problem. And one of the members of the team or group is now dead because of this. And so the music heightens and it goes, and now it'll start a very long series of parallel editing. So basically every single time an Indian gets shot off their horse or they get shot at and so forth, every time it switches scenes between the stagecoach and the natives you see right here is parallel editing, meant to reinforce the idea that they're fighting and to show cohesion between the fighting. So now the viewer is getting up the suspense of the scene with now the stagecoach arming up. The men of the stagecoach are arming up and fighting off the Indians. He's now giving the outlaw Ringo a gun because they need to all come together again and fight off the problem facing them at hand. So this is showing an internal conflict within the stagecoach of those who are trying to work, those who are trying to help, and the other ones who are just freaking out and overreacting. So now the rest of this scene is very similar. They will continue to do parallel editing with gunshots and action scenes of fighting off the Indians as they get closer and closer to the stagecoach, all while the music is still high temp and keeping you on the edge of your seat, wondering who's next to get hurt or who's next to get shot and die. Especially right here, now you see the Indians are gaining on them and surrounding them, so you suspect that it's getting closer and closer to someone else getting hurt. So now this scene will individualize one of the attackers. So he's different from the other ones because he's not just riding his horse, he actually did something. And now this is a great scene for parallel editing as they have a shot of him shooting, next shot of the other guy falling, shot of John Wayne shooting, next shot of him falling. And here it is again. So this is after he just got shot, and Ringo is introduced with another problem, the entire Stagecoach is, and now that they have the reins, they're out of ammo. He runs out of ammo in his gun, and the doctor will run out of his ammo too. So now they're introduced with a whole nother set of problems. And this scene makes the Indians appear more savage because you have a woman and her baby, newborn baby. Not her baby, but they're in their stagecoach and getting attacked. Nothing to defend themselves, which is what he understands is happening, which is why he now wants to kill his love so that she doesn't have to experience the fate that he believes everyone in the stagecoach is going to experience. So now the suspense is rising and the music's going up, and right as he's about to pull the trigger, you see him drop the gun. We don't know exactly what happened. And then in the distance you hear the calls of the cavalry. And so these bugles symbolize rescue, hope, life. Basically, all this suspense leading to them being rescued. Now the music goes to another high temp sound, but not of intense danger, more of freedom and safety and victory. And now we're brought to the realization of the losses of the battle. He doesn't get to finish what he's saying, leaving the viewer wondering what he might have wanted his lover to hear right before he died. Now in this scene, they've already come back and they've heard of Ringo's return. And so you associate these three brothers of knowing Ringo and the fear in this brother right now, knocking over all these glasses, shows that Ringo poses a real threat to them and they are afraid. Now the one in the black hat is trying to keep them in check and not too afraid. He's more of their leader. There is no music in these scenes, and it leaves you to wonder who and when is coming and what's happening. You have no indicators, no music, no heightening of it, no lowering of it. And they freak out at every time someone walks into the bar, making you wonder if this is it, if this is Ringo. He's completely out of the entire situation, drinking, talking, and being relaxed while everyone else is very tense, which is showing a contrast that this contrast shows the uneasiness of everyone else compared to what a normal person would be like. So it really exemplifies what's going on. And now him pulling out the shotgun shows that he's still the hard war criminal outlaw type character who is willing to kill the doctor just because he's staring at him. Show that he's pushing away the girl he likes, or the girl who loved him. Kind of giving him a negative vibe, making it obvious to the viewer that he is the bad guy in this situation. And here they're already talking about how Ringo's dead, and more people may die, leaving the viewer to think that Ringo will die and other people might die, including other people from the stagecoach that we already know. Again, there has been no music in the scene so far. Right there, shooting at a cat shows how scared they are, and they're so scared they can't even protect themselves. Missing a cat from 4 feet, how is he supposed to shoot Ringo? So it gives some hope for Ringo. Now everyone is cleared out. It's a dark setting, so we know something's about to happen pretty soon. The odds are 3v1, so it's against Ringo. Again, building up that suspense. And now we see them confront each other as Ringo comes into the light, shown as the protagonist in this situation, facing off against his evils, his antagonists. Now the music starts to build up again, get louder. Corresponds to each step. Now all you hear is gunshots and women's screams, and nothing else after that. And the way Dallas reacts makes you think that Ringo died. The pattern is reinforced here, since Luke comes in, apparently unharmed until he falls over dead. So now that was a pattern break, leaving us turned around and confused, but now figuring out that Ringo actually did survive, and he's coming back to meet with the woman that he loves and he wants to marry and wants to run away with. It's a loving song and shows victory and how it all comes to a perfect ending, happy ending. And then right when they're about to be all happy, they get hit with the truth that Ringo is still an outlaw and still needs to go to prison. So after all that, he still doesn't get the girl. Now this is developing another pattern, leaving us to draw conclusions that he's going to prison, she's going to go to his house and wait for him to get out. And then we'll have our happy ending, hopefully. But we won't know. So it's getting grim, the music again is getting grim. We know this is the end for them. And then it goes up. Music gets high tempo as they take off and have a happy ending together.
Well, let's see. Blessings of civilization. Yeah. Buy you a drink.
And another pattern break here is the doctor who has a drinking problem, who got over his drinking problem to deliver the baby, is now going to have a drink with the sheriff. Kind of concluding with a happy ending. And that is it. That is my commentary on the film Stagecoach.